Greetings comic lovers and welcome back to Casually Comics, the channel where we chat all things comics, from reviews of comics new and old, to history, to anecdotes, to really wherever our whims take us. So a few days ago I posted this picture over on the community tab, just because I was late to the party. It's not uncommon for me to be late to the meme party, but as soon as I did see it, I had to know more. Where did it come from? Why was it there? If you gaze into the abyss long enough, does it truly gaze back? I can hear the drums. So I dug a little deeper and I found that this image comes from, drumroll please, Doctor Strange issue 390. This is from back in 2018, which was not what I was expecting, but okay. So then I had to read the issue so that I had full context. Like, it wasn't enough to just know that it was from this issue. I had to know why, what was happening, why was he making this face? Well, it turned out to be a bit more of a ride than I was expecting. So I hope you like to jump into things randomly in the middle, because that's what we're about to do. If you ever heard the question, who would ever just show up right in the middle of something? Hello, hi. And we're about to do it together. We're gonna have to explore the face. We're gonna take his face off. But before we get started, I'm Sasha, and if you're enjoying this content, you know what to do. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, stick around for this crazy comics journey, because you never know where we're going. So Doctor Strange issue 390, written by Donny Cates with art by Frazer Irving, who has a very distinct style that for me sometimes really works and sometimes really doesn't. This issue is actually the last issue of Donny Cates' run. This was before the book would be taken over by Mark Waid. So it's a passing of the torch, wrapping up of loose end style issue, complete with the obligatory "I enjoyed my time with this book" letter. Does anyone else just once kind of want a letter that's super shady? Like, I hated every second of it, glad to be free, never make me write this character again. Sincerely, the author. Just me, probably, but I live for salt. Also, yes, I'm aware that some people have strong feelings about Donny Cates. People have strong feelings about a lot of people. Actually, on my other channel, Shipper's Guide to the Galaxy, we have a whole video dedicated to how he got into some beef with shippers about differing opinions on the previous Venom run before his versus how his portrayal was going. And at the time, a lot of people were like, oh, see, it's fine, because it's the right type of fans to be going after. But I mean, if you go after any type of fan, you'll go after any type of fan. It's just the beginning. I mean, that's not to say there aren't fans that go too far, but Twitter can be a very scary place. But if we were gonna talk about this, we'd have to be sidetracked for a long time, and also we'd have to say it for a lot of people, because these days when it comes to people yelling at other people on Twitter, who isn't? So let's leave that depressing thought behind for some cliff notes on this Doctor Strange run. What's going on, just so that the story makes sense? During Cates' Doctor Strange arc, for a time, Doctor Strange was no longer the Sorcerer Supreme, as Loki tricked others into believing that he had taken the title, and so Doctor Strange became a vet and eventually ended up with a ghost dog. He also took on an apprentice, Zelma Stanton, who would grow more and more wary of him and his methods. This would go on as the arc progressed. In fact, before this final issue, she had walked away from him. Too much. So the status, just before we get into this issue. Doctor Strange has just recently become the Sorcerer Supreme again, just in time to make that transition to the next writer smooth like butter. That's all the cliff notes you need, let's do this. The cover tells you right away what sort of Spider-Man you're getting. Annoying. They're hiding from him. Just query, what's the most desperate thing you've ever done to hide from somebody? Or are you hardcore and you just face everybody head on? For me, I've commando crawled across the floor. I like the cloak silencing the dog, because this dog can talk. We've actually detailed his dog before over in the Black Cat videos. It's all coming together. Our comic starts with Zelma knocking on the door of 177A Bleecker Street, aka the Sanctum Sanctorum. Strange texted her last issue to ask if they could talk / see each other so that they could resolve all of their drama that they had going on. But it's not Strange who answers. No, it's Spider-Man. I'd say leave a message, but I don't know if there's an actual way to do that. Just come back, I guess? Right. How are you in there? Oh, sorry. I'm so bad at this. I just assume everyone knows. I'm Spider-Man. Are you? I don't know. This feels off to me. Anyone else? Doctor Strange is avoiding all this awkwardness by closing up his veterinary clinic and having a heart-to-heart with his talking ghost dog Bats. He can't be a vet and the Sorcerer Supreme. That's just too many responsibilities. But don't tell that to 2019 Doctor Strange, because he's gonna be a surgeon and the Sorcerer Supreme there. Also, Bats is chewing on a Spidey Chew toy, which of course is cute, but also launched me on a line of questioning. Who makes them? Who gets the money? Because it's not Peter. Maybe he should sue. Zelma knew where Doctor Strange was, and Spidey is still with her. It continues. This feels awkward. Is this awkward to anyone else? Should I go? I hate it when things are quiet like this. Should I talk more or less? Oh man, is that a ghost dog? Spidey has a moment with said ghost dog, and so Doctor Strange actually has to pull Zelma, his own supporting character, aside and tell her that he'll get to her later, because he has to figure out just why Spidey is there. And we do too. I mean, if you were reading this run continuously, I assume that you were waiting for the resolution of this plot, so Peter, stay in your lane. Peter, what are you doing here? What happened? What's wrong? What? No. I just wanted to come and check on you is all. All that Loki stuff and the Vegas thing. Why does something have to be wrong for a guy to check in on his friend? Oh, well, my apologies, Peter. I suppose we don't do enough of that in this line of work. That's very kind of you to check in like this, Peter. Yeah, calamitous nightmare. Hey, check this out. Look, a spider. Cool, huh? Okay, so if you were enjoying this little emotional catharsis, well, get ready for that to be waylaid entirely by humor, or humor, depending upon how you feel about it. It's here to bust down your door and tie you to a comfy couch like the Spanish Inquisition. Peter brought a spider with him so that Dr. Strange could get him to talk to it, which was a thing he would sometimes do for his patients. You know, he could talk to the animal, see what's really wrong, make you a really great vet, actually. Do you want to talk to a spider, Peter? There it is, the face! It's even odder in context, because Strange's face is so lovingly crafted, but also the picture of perfect disappointment. While I get the sentiment that's meant to be conveyed on Peter's face is like an excited wonder married with eagerness and aw shucks, but I don't know, something about it horrifies me. It's mesmerizing to me and I can't stop. I can't stop looking at it. We then get a page-long interlude by Donny Cates and Chip Zdarsky, with Peter talking to a spider. You know, he's comparing notes on what it means to be a spider, like, oh, where do your webs come out? Ooh, that's gross. But then it gets weird. Spiders only live a little over a year in ideal conditions. You seem to be well into your adult life cycle. He does? I thought he was graduating from college again. I can't keep track. Peter's anywhere between the ages of 18 and 32, or maybe 35 if we're pushing it. So yeah, your death is almost surely imminent. Pete, everything dies. What is this? Where is this coming from? Chip Zdarsky isn't getting me writing Spider-Man life story till 2019. Where is this existential dread coming from? Isn't this comic book about Doctor Strange coming to terms with being the Sorcerer Supreme again and wrapping up loose ends? Peter, why are you here? Well, I'm not sure what I thought was gonna happen, but that was terrible. Hey, listen, I really did come by to check up on you. I just wanted you to know that it happens to all of us. We all quit, we all give into darkness, whether it's for a single second during a fight or for as long as it takes to get our heads back together. What we do is hard, and not just physically. But look at this, Steven. Look where you went when you left being a superhero. You just went right back to being a regular hero. You got back to the work you were doing before you had powers. That says something about you. That's who you are, Doctor Strange. Remember that. Sorry, I had to pee. The joke there is that he actually wasn't house sitting at the Sanctum Sanctorum, he just broke in to use the washroom. Now, perhaps I am made of immovable stone, which is entirely possible. But for me, that speech very much reads as a thing that I read and not something that leaves me inspired, which is the tone that I gather it was going for. Like we all go through stuff. Superheroes are just like us. They put their pants on one leg at a time, see, and they fall and they get back up. I get all that, but there's something about how this was presented that, I don't know, kind of bummed me out. There's something very telling and not showing about it, because a hero's journey and watching them fall and build themselves back up can be really, really compelling. But there's something about having it speechified, like one of those audiobooks that you might listen to in your car or on a walk, that for me, I don't know, just made it feel a lot less epic and a lot more like I was being lectured about how I have to get up at 6 a.m. and do some sit-ups. Doesn't matter how hard you fall, we all fall. What matters is that you get back up. Subscribe to me on YouTube, I also have a book. Also, I don't know, I found the humor to be very emotionally whiplashy in this scene, but again, humor is subjective. Also, side note, saying humor is subjective doesn't mean that you can't then go on to explain why you found it funny or not funny. It's just a basic statement. Some people are gonna find things funny and some people aren't, but you can still explain why you do or don't. Different strokes for different folks. So Spidey's gone, which means we have 7 pages to wrap everything up with Doctor Strange and Zelma. Go! Zelma tells him that she's sorry that she missed the big climactic battle, which he's really surprised by because they didn't leave things on great terms at all. I never gave you a chance to talk. I know how that feels, to have things left unsaid, and it feels terrible. I've been having these insane dreams, these incredible wild dreams about you and me, about our adventures and saving the world and all that. Are these my dreams, or is Steven bringing me into this? And you know, the fact that I can't answer that very weird question, that's what I miss. You ever get the feeling when something's trying hard to be deep and you're just not buying into it? That's me. But in all fairness, we are jumping in on the last issue like a madman. Who does that? Us. She tells him she's not coming back, but leaves it decently open so that the next writer can do whatever they want. bring her back, not bring her back, it's fine. And so the last few panels are told very nicely without dialogue. Just this progression of Doctor Strange doing things and different facial expressions as he does them, and they work. You can really tell what he's thinking. It's very optimistic. He's gonna get back to being the Sorcerer Supreme and new start kind of thing. You see him ditching his beard in lieu of his more coiffed look, opening up Bleecker Street, and going to rest with a smile on his face. The end. Well, I mean the end for this author's run. Doctor Strange was back, obviously. I guess it did what it's supposed to do. Essentially, it left it very clear for whatever Wade wanted to do after. And now I know where the face comes from, and I feel like context made it worse. Was Spidey out of character for anyone else? I don't know. It felt almost like an imposter broke into Doctor Strange's house for me. Spiderman, look out. Here comes the Spiderman. I feel like Peter's sense of humor and just his personality, in the fact that there's a difference between making quips and being sardonic or snarky and not being able to stop talking and feeling super awkward. That's almost more of like a Buffy-ish type of humor. Like we're all talking and we all back and forth constantly. It can be a subtle difference though. It's like it's an interesting line to walk. I don't know. I came in at the end of the run, so I guess the question to ask is, did you read this run, and if so, did you like it? If you haven't, did this make you want to go back and read some more? And I guess more pertinently, have you ever jumped into something just midway through? And if so, how did you enjoy it? Did you stay? I'm Sasha, and thanks so much for watching Casually Comics. Please do all of the YouTube things. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell notification so that you never miss a vid. And thanks so much for taking some time every day to spend it discussing comics with me. I always appreciate it, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.